Hey, I've been contemplating whether I should study American English or British English. What are your thoughts on this?
That's an interesting question. Both American and British English have their own distinct characteristics. It really depends on your goals and preferences. Could you tell me more about why you're considering studying one or the other?
Well, I'm planning to pursue higher education abroad, and I want to ensure that my English skills are aligned with the country I choose. I'm torn between the United States and the United Kingdom.
That makes sense. If you're specifically targeting education in one of those countries, it might be beneficial to study the version of English spoken there. American English is primarily used in the United States, whereas British English is spoken in the UK and many other Commonwealth countries.
Yes, that's true. But apart from the location, are there any significant differences between American and British English that I should consider?
Absolutely. Although American and British English share a common foundation, there are differences in vocabulary, pronunciation, and even grammar. For instance, certain words are spelled differently, like color in American English and color in British English, or theater versus theater. Pronunciation can also vary, with different accents and intonation patterns.
I see. Would these differences pose any challenges if I choose to study one version but end up living or working in a country where the other version is predominantly spoken?
It could present some challenges initially, but rest assured, most English speakers can understand both American and British English without much difficulty. Exposure to different English accents can be a valuable asset, as it broadens your understanding of the language and helps you adapt to various communication styles.
That's reassuring. In terms of resources and learning materials, are there more options available for one version over the other?
Since American English has a larger population of speakers, there tends to be a wider range of resources tailored to that variation. You'll find numerous textbooks, online courses, and language learning apps dedicated to American English. However, British English resources are also widely available, especially considering the influence of British culture and media.
That's good to know. Another factor I'm considering is which version of English is more widely understood globally. Any insights on that?
English, in general, is a global language, and both American and British English are widely understood. However, due to the global influence of American culture, American English is often more prevalent in popular media, movies, and music. This exposure to American English can make it more recognizable and familiar to people worldwide.
It seems like there are pros and cons to both options. I'll need to weigh them carefully. Ultimately, I want to choose the version that will benefit me the most in terms of my future educational and career prospects.
Absolutely. It's essential to consider your specific goals and aspirations. Whichever version you choose, keep in mind that developing strong language skills and cultural awareness will be valuable assets, regardless of the specific variant of English you study.
You're right. Thank you for your insights and advice. I'll take some time to reflect on everything we've discussed before making my decision.
You're welcome. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any more questions.
Thanks. I appreciate your willingness to help. I've been doing some research, and it seems like American English is more widely used in international business and global communication. That might be an advantage if I'm considering a career with multinational companies or working in a global context.
That's a valid point. American English does have a strong presence in international business, and many global companies have headquarters or branches in the United States. Familiarity with American English could potentially open up more opportunities in terms of networking, job prospects, and collaborations with American organizations.
On the other hand, I find British English quite charming, and I'm drawn to its rich literary tradition and cultural heritage. It would be fascinating to explore classic British literature and immerse myself in the cultural nuances associated with British English.
That's a wonderful motivation. British English indeed has a long and influential literary history, and if you have a passion for literature and the arts, studying British English might offer you a deeper appreciation of renowned authors like Shakespeare, Dickens, or Austen. It could also give you a unique perspective on British culture and society.
I'm also considering the aspect of ease of learning. Based on what I've heard, British English tends to be more standardized and consistent in terms of grammar rules compared to American English, which can have more variations and informal expressions. Would that be a significant factor to consider?
It's true that British English follows a more formal grammatical structure, and it may appear more consistent in some areas. However, it's important to note that both American and British English have their own grammar rules and variations. While British English may have a reputation for being more standardized, exposure to American English can help you understand and adapt to different registers and dialects, which can be valuable in real-world communication.
That's a valid point. I suppose it ultimately comes down to personal preference and the specific context in which I plan to use English. I'll need to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of both options carefully.
Absolutely. Take your time to consider all the factors we discussed, and perhaps consult with people who have experience living or studying in either the United States or the United Kingdom. They can provide valuable insights based on their first-hand experiences and help you make an informed decision.
I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for your time and guidance. This conversation has given me a lot to think about, and I feel more equipped to make a decision that aligns with my goals.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. Remember, whichever version of English you choose, the most important thing is to invest time and effort in developing strong language skills. That will benefit you in your educational pursuits, career endeavors, and personal growth.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Thanks again for your support. I'll make sure to make the best decision for myself.